Welcome to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh, joined today solo, or I guess duos, with my co-host here, Ray. Ray, how's it going?
Hello. It's going pretty well. Okay, well is relative, I guess I should say,
As well,
because
in 2020 COVID adjusted terms.
fuck. Yeah, that. Wow, when you put it that way, yeah. How about yourself, sir?
I'm not too bad. Again, in 2020 adjusted terms, I could be doing a lot worse. So I could be a former mayor.
We're just gonna start right there, aren't we?
Well, I was gonna say, something about our dear colleague Mike, out there raiding in the world, but you know, that's not the biggest news. That's not.
Yeah, we should note that Mike right now is out because he's doing a Destiny 2 raid, and that is peak Mike energy, and we appreciate him for it.
Yep.
He will come back probably next episode and tell us all about the raid.
Not
I
only
almost guarantee it.
not only that, but Mike wasn't even in the original raid party, but they wanted to finish it and they needed somebody else, so he was just on deck in case the other person didn't show, and then is completing the raid with them. So that is peak Destiny Mike energy, and I wouldn't have him any other way.
I mean, ladies and gentlemen, the key to love is find you a woman or guy that likes you as much as Mike likes Destiny. You're golden. Once you accomplish that, it's all downhill from there.
Ray, I don't think love like that actually exists outside of that relationship. I could be wrong,
Get someone that looks at you like Mike looks at Galahorn. Oh my goodness. I actually kind of like Galahorn and Truth, but anyways, that's an aside. You briefly were talking about COVID, and you were talking about a specific mayor. Yeah, just getting out of the way.
As of time of recording on December 6th, 2020, Rudy Giuliani has come down with the COVID and has seemingly been hospitalized for it.
Yeah, tested positive. He was having some breathing troubles. He was admitted to the hospital as of, according to my watch, about 3 hours ago. It's a little bit before 8 on my time, 8 p.m. So yeah, he's probably not doing all right. He's 76 years old. He's up there.
And I would imagine that, while a wealthy man, he's still not going to get the same experimental crazy treatments as the president of the United States. So, Now, conspiracy theory time. I'm going to take the role of Mike here. Could this just be a ploy so that he doesn't have to appear in federal court with that crazy drunk lady again? Because, oh boy, that was bad.
Oh my gosh. That was hard. Like, I think it was either you or Mike that sent that video clip of that woman that they were doing like a senatorial hearing. It was some sort of like weird legislative hearing.
It was like, I think, Michigan state legislative hearing.
It was 2 minutes long, and that was a really rough 2 minutes to get through. And this is what the discourse in our country has come down to. Just someone just shouting into the microphone that they saw things that, when cross-referenced, weren't there. But one of these days, we're going to have to delve into the illustriousness of unscripted politics. And I'm telling you, I think we missed the boat by not covering probably the hottest election of I hope our lifetimes. I don't ever want it to be that stressful ever again.
If you cut out all of the political sidebars that we've had over the years, you could cut together a very solid unscripted politics just from those discussions.
Reminder that one of our videos on YouTube was demonetized, I think in 2017, when I think we all agreed fuck Nazis. It seems like an uncontroversial position.
I mean, sometimes you can have a take that's even too hot for the internet.
Okay. That one just seems like an okay take. That seems like a lukewarm take. Like, oh no,
that seems like the most basic of takes. Like, that is the take every person should basically just be born with.
The bog standard.
You step out the womb and you're like, yo, fuck Nazis. And then you go on from there.
Let's talk about
Should we
you know,
talk
I
about
don't have a
19-inch
segue for the
penises?
game. Hmm?
I said, should we talk about 19-inch penises, or should we
I
talk
mean,
about games we've been playing first?
where did you get 19-inch penises? Are you talking about Cyberpunk?
Yeah,
What's
I'm
going
talking
on
about
here?
Cyberpunk.
I'm confused. Oh,
Where
yeah.
I
One,
haven't been following the discourse too much, but I do know that there is a penis size slider, and I'm willing to bet dollars to donuts that that's the feature that we waited an extra like 6 months for them to just tweak just right before they
just a
released
little
it unto us.
penile strength is not big enough. Must make it bigger. This game is unshippable without it.
Yep.
We
Yep.
need dong up to chest is what we're looking for.
You have to have an erection so fierce that you're gonna pass out from blood loss.
Yes, Cyberpunk, as of our recording, comes out in a week, or a little bit less, depending on where you are in not just the United States, in the world. Much anticipated. I already have my copy. It's getting shipped to me. I'm looking forward to trying it out. I'm going to be playing the PS4 version. I don't know if Josh or Mike are interested in it. You guys getting it, or are you getting it, rather?
So I'm interested in it. I don't think I'm going to get it right now, simply because I have a few other games that I either have or am getting soon that I am more interested in, want to play sooner. Like, I still have to start Paper Mario. I haven't done that yet. I want to play Miles Morales. The newest Dark Pictures anthology game came out, and like me and my wife played those together. So those are all games that are higher up on that list for me. So that might be one for me that I wait 6 months, or the first kind of oh hey, it's a 30% off sale for some sort of holiday, then I'll pick it up. Not to say that I'm not interested in it, just it's not a high on my priority list right now.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
So you'll be our man on the ground, Ray, reporting from the front lines of the cyberpunk future and letting us know what it's like.
I'm really interested to seeing where they take the mission structure of the games. I haven't been like huge into like character customization in like years. I'm just not that type of person anymore. Is like, do I want the character to look a little bit like me? Yeah, sure. Or do I just want the default characters on the front of the box? Yeah, that's probably fine. Because it's really hard to like put myself into the stories of those games. Like, don't get me wrong, I took just a couple seconds to like customize my character in Star Wars Squadrons, but thank goodness it doesn't give you that many options. It's like, here's kind of the face. That face kind of has facial hair. Here's the helmets. There's the suits. Whatever. There's not that much to it, and that's fine. That
Yeah, I think
works for
honestly
me.
the last game before Squadrons where like I had a character customization option might have been like Fallout 4, and there I pretty much did like, oh hey, this is like the default person. I'm much more interested in taking a little bit of time of kind of specking into the actual like attributes of the character, but like the appearance, it just, you don't see it that often. It's so not prevalent half the time that it doesn't seem like something that I want to spend
Especially
multiple
since this is a
minutes.
first-person game. Besides the cutscenes, you're not going to see that character model that much.
Yeah, but Ray, what about if you hit a reflection and like, whoa, I'm looking at myself, man. Like, oh my God.
To me, and this is just to me, because I know there's a lot of people that love character customization and love to just spend hours just making their character look like a specific thing or person, whatnot. That's all well, good, and fun. I just
Not for me.
that part of it's not for me. I'm always, as I said before, I'm the type of person that's like, what does the box look like? That's fine. That'll be my character. Same thing when I play Mass Effect, even though they're my favorite games. Well, I did change Femship to where she had like much shorter hair, but that was it. That was all I gave her. But the game looks interesting. I love sci-fi games. I've not played the Cyberpunk board games. Interested to give it a shot. I guess I'm jumping on the proverbial bandwagon, as it were, when it comes to the property or the licensing of the game, since I've never played anything before like it. I just like sci-fi games. All right, I'm willing to give this one
I
a
mean,
shot.
you know, it's from a semi-trusted developer. It's got a cool looking vibe. Like, it seems like it's got a cool, you know, situation, like, God, scenery, scenario, everything. You know, it looks interesting. So, it'll be very interesting. I'm just said interesting like 5 times in a row, but
It's
I'm,
very interesting.
I, it is going to be very curious to see if the wait has been worth it. Like, have the things that they have been pouring these last extra weeks and months into had any appreciable effect on the game? You know, is this going to live up to the hype?
Probably. I mean, I'm thinking the game is probably looking like a solid. Oh, well, I'm not going to give it like a score. I don't know. It looks really good. Like the fidelity of the game looks fine. The character models look good. The weapon interaction looks fun. The vehicle interaction looks fun. Uh, Customization and modability of the way you attack different forms of the environments. Like I saw the gameplay reveal like a year ago, where it showed like how you could modify your eyes to see around different corners, or you're going to modify how guns interact, the projectiles interact with the environment, like having more penetration, or like if you can see through a wall, maybe you have a specific type of bullet that'll punch through the wall or something like that.
I mean, yeah, if you have a 19-inch penis, you're going to have more penetration, right?
I mean, you're gonna have a ton of penetration with that thing, or just it's just a melee weapon. You just beat him over the face with it. Cyberpunk 2077. Well, Pat.
Unarmed combat through the roof.
You're unarmed combat. You're just maxing out the stats. Someone over your shoulder. What are you doing? Wait for it. I'm gonna take out the final boss in the way you were never meant to, or maybe the way you always meant to. Um. So, George, I want to ask you, what games are you playing?
So honestly, for me, it's been mostly Destiny. The last week has been pretty light in terms of gameplay for me. But I did finally make it through the main story beats of the Beyond Light expansion.
Okay.
There's still some side stuff that I need to do and getting leveled up for the raid. But did finish the main story, and I was pretty pleased with how that story went, the story that it told, the kind of conclusion and seeming next steps, you know, the things that it's gearing up for, kind of this post main story content, but also just kind of seeming where Destiny is going to be going in the foreseeable future with the next few expansions. So, you know, I've said this multiple times. One of my biggest complaints with just some of that extra content is none of it has seemed very consequential.
Mm.
So to have an addition to the story that felt like it actually had some stakes, it had weight. There's real consequence to the things that were happening, both via my actions and the things that were happening in the world. So overall, very pleased. You know, if they keep this up, I definitely can see myself getting the other two expansions moving forward. That being
There are two
said,
more coming.
I believe there are two more on the roadmap. I might be making that up, but I want to say that they have content planned all the way basically to 2022 with the last expansion, and then, you know, Destiny 3 question mark. So obviously our Destiny guru isn't here because he's on assignment, but he's planet side right now. So but yeah, I like the story. Again, this is the first Destiny expansion I think I have not completely regretted purchasing. So yeah,
Wow. Oh my gosh. Wait, you regretted purchasing Forsaken?
Forsaken was good. I think my biggest problem with Forsaken is because I was so burned by the first two pieces of expansion. I did not get into Forsaken right off the bat. So
Okay.
while the the content was good, I was basically trying to get through it as quick as possible to get to the point where I would be close enough in level to my squad who has already been playing for a while. So it was good. I liked the characters that they introduced. I just didn't get as much time to like really experience it with everybody because I'm just trying to get through it, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah, it's good, and that's basically been the long and the short of what I've played in the last week or so here.
So I've been on an indie game kick lately. No real reason. Just what was the last game I completed? I think it was Hades. Yeah, after Hades, I said, okay, I want to try some other smaller games before we get to. Ignore my dog. He's growling because he wants to play, but he keeps taking the ball away every time he gets close to my foot. He's being weird about it. um, so after Hades, I picked up El Gato Roboto, which I think you, Josh, would love. It's extremely short. You can beat it in 3 hours. If you want 100% it, you could do it in 4 hours on your first go.
Okay. Okay.
Barely knowing the mechanics as well. It's not too difficult. It's a Metroidvania where you play as a cat in a mech suit, and along the way, you're upgrading the mech suit to have more powers and for traversal capabilities.
Go on.
Okay, so like at the very beginning of the game, you play a guy in a military spaceship, and he brings this cat along with him for like patrol routes. And the cat accidentally hops onto a button that causes the ship to dump its to jettison its like fuel, and they crash land onto a planet. And so the guy is like very injured, very crippled. Like he keeps talking about how his legs really hurt and they're probably like liquefied or something like that. Let's just pretend he does have legs, but his legs are pretty much done. So he says, "Okay, Kiki, my cat, you're the only one that can help us. Go find some help." And you, as a cat, get out of the ship and you find a mecha suit and you begin game. And yeah, it's really short, really fun. I loved it. I loved the ending. The story beats. You wouldn't think a game that short and with that silly storyline wouldn't have like a very interesting story. If you do go out of your way to read some like hidden data logs, it does have a very kind of unique, slightly touching story to it, and you really should play it whenever you get some free time, like a couple hours of free time.
What are you playing it on?
Oh, Switch.
Switch. Okay.
Absolutely play it for Switch. I actually completed it when I was laying down for the night, and I said, I got a couple hours. I don't feel like sleeping right now.
How much was it? 15, 20 bucks?
Not even 4, and I got it on sale for a $1.99.
Oh shoot!
You have, for someone that likes Metroidvanias with quirky stories, you have no reason not to get this.
Yeah, I mean, just by you saying that, I wanted to go back and play a robot named Fight because I haven't played that in a while. But yeah, I'm gonna definitely have to. El Gato Roboto.
It's just Gato Roboto.
Gato
I thought it was
Roboto.
El Gato, but yeah, it's just Gato Roboto. And the name is just like cat robot in Spanish. That name never comes up again. Don't read too much into it.
I mean, you know, it does what it says on the till, and you just go from then.
It was made by a small team of people, made by like a team of like 4 people. One person doing the coding, one person doing the sprite work, lead designer, and one other person doing the music. And yeah, really good. Like the music is really fun as well, as it has to be in like a Metroidvania game, I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I think all those games you definitely have to set the tone and the ambiance with a really good marriage of set designs and music. Without those two mirroring up well, you don't have what it takes to make that immersive Metroidvania style game.
I agree with you. The next game I actually just completed, actually just a couple hours before we hopped on and doing this podcast, is Hyperlight Drifter. Mike put this in, if I'm not mistaken, in his. My dog's barking for whatever reason.
Yeah, I want to say it was his game of the year a couple years ago.
It's like 2017.
Yeah.
I think it was the game of the year or something like that. So I saw it on sale, and I decided, why not? Let's go ahead and give this a shot. I've been meaning to play this game. It's a cross between like a Legend of Zelda, A Link to the Past, and Dark Souls, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
It's got those. that type of
started it
mechanics.
like after Mike put it on his game of the year list. I started it, maybe
Yeah.
got an hour or so in, and I haven't played it since.
Yeah, if you don't like Dark Souls and you don't like The Legend of Zelda, I know you like one of those.
I like one of those.
You like one of those. But if you don't have the patience that is required of like a Souls-like game, this might not be your cup of tea.
Yeah,
Because this game is... It has an easy mode though, if you
yes.
want to give that a shot.
I didn't dislike it. Like I feel like I remember enjoying what I had played so far. I just think it was at a weird time. Other stuff had come out, and I just didn't have a lot of time to play single player games at that time. And
Yeah.
after, when I kind of get back into single player games, you know, other stuff was coming out, so it just kind of fell by the wayside for me.
I totally get that. It's short-ish. It took me 8 hours and 16 minutes on like a comfortable playthrough of it. Not getting 100%. I think I got 75% of everything.
That's not bad.
Went back and looked at the guide, and there's a lot of stuff that you just don't need to get. Like for me, once I unlock the shotgun, and there's a bunch of blade arts that you can unlock, and some traversal things that you can unlock, but you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to unlock anything. You could just go through the game stock standard as the guy that you're playing, and the game's more difficult that way, but it's definitely beatable that way. Once I unlocked the shotgun and the ability to deflect bullets with my sword, and like the grenade, I didn't even need the grenade. You get like a little grenade. It's called a roly-poly. The game just became a cakewalk from then on out, because the shotgun is just like, oh, always keep... You guys are rolling up tight on me, but I always keep that motherfucking thing on me. And then you just... Hold on. Then you're just like...
For anybody listening to the audio version of this, Ray just pulled out like a actual Nerf revolver
I have
situation.
a Nerf gun over at my desk for no reason.
I can't believe that just happened.
There's something cathartic about that, where like you see an enemy with like a lot of health rolling up on you. You just get up and just BAH! And there he goes. He falls. You don't even have to... Actually, that's how I ended up beating the last boss of the game. The last boss is difficult but fair, very fair. You just have to get his pattern down, or you can roll tight up on him and just like slice, blap, and there's not much. His health disappears pretty quickly. It took me like 2 minutes or less. That's it. The game is really good. It's got some very weird, creepy themes to it. It's got some very Evangelion-like themes to it.
Interesting.
The person that made the game actually suffers from a congenital heart disease, so there's a lot of very personal effects to the game that keep seeping through as you play it. Like the character you're playing, the Drifter, as his name is, will occasionally just start, you don't have control of him. He's walking very slowly and coughing up his own like pinkish blood onto the ground.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah, and that's supposed to represent the designer, because because of the disease that he suffers from. Sometimes it just attacks him, and there's not much he can do about it. He just has to deal with that for a bit. And yeah, when you get to the final ending of the game, it gets weird. It gets very artistic and avant-garde, but it's cool. I really liked it. I really dug it. So I could definitely see why Mike put it in the Game of the Year list.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll ever revisit it, but I really enjoy what I played. Gets my seal of approval, if you will. Much like Gato Roboto.
I think if I don't hop off this podcast and start playing Warzone, there's a very good chance I might go grab the Switch and get Gato Roboto and start playing it.
You need Gato Roboto, and there's some parts I know that you will actually start cracking up at, because I was laughing like a fool at certain part. You're a cat in a mech suit. Stupid shit is gonna happen.
Those are two of my favorite things. Put them together, hilarity must ensue. It
does. I promise you, it does. Oh yeah, and the dialogue in the game, because there is a lot of dialogue in Gata Roboto. There's more dialogue in Gata Roboto than there is in Hyper Light Drifter, because Hyper Light Drifter on purpose has like next to no dialogue. But still, it's great. It's wonderful. Josh, I believe you wanted to tell us something about Dell, because you mentioned this briefly in our chat that Dell has been doing a kind of a shitty job at something.
Yeah, you know what that means it's time for? Time for Josh's. Time for Josh's. Time for Josh. Time for Josh. Time for Josh's. Josh's Tech Minute.
I I hate that theme.
Did you forget that was did you forget that was a thing?
I did. I was sleeping better. The sun was somehow shining a little bit brighter.
Again, my favorite part about that is that you have to edit it in because Ray does the editing for our audio version, so he has to go in and manually add that into the spot, so there's continuity. So you're welcome, Ray.
Oh God.
Anyway, I have other things besides that, but for those who may not be aware, Linus Tech Tips has done, this is their second version of the Secret Shopper, where they do a series of videos where they have somebody on staff buy from several different PC manufacturers like $1,500 gaming rigs, and they call in and they're like, hey, my budget's $1,500 and I want a PC, and they basically put them up to the test of like who got the best bang for the buck. They simulate a couple like technical errors, like the RAM slot, the RAM being unseated, and seeing how well the support is. So Dell, not known for their most trustworthiness, straight up scammed them out of several $100s. And it's one of those things where I don't know, like there must be a lawyer somewhere who is salivating over watching this video, because there's got to be a class action lawsuit somewhere.
Can you describe how they were scammed out of several $100s?
So essentially what happened is during that call that their employee had to buy the PC, the sales rep continually tried to upsell them on warranty and antivirus software and services throughout the call. And uncategorically, several times, the like almost double digit times they were asked, said no to everything and declined it all. When they got the PC, they looked at the invoice, and on that invoice was the 4-year extended warranty, antivirus and whatnot, and all that information. So during that, the Linus Tech Tips team went to like the online configurator, and they did see that the antivirus is typically just included for 1 year regardless. But the extended service warranties were not just included, and they cost a couple $100s each. The thing on the online applicator is you can't, they had two options on the invoice on that LTT computer that they bought. You cannot select both of those options at the same time on the online purchasing website. So like you could go and say, yes, I want this extended warranty protection program, and select it, but you could not then also buy the other one. So not only did they turn down several times warranty that was then still charged to them, but they got double charged for something that somebody who had purchased this PC online couldn't do. It was also a terrible, terrible computer. I want to say it had like a 1660 graphics card in it. Like it was.
Wait, is there is?
Yeah. For $1,500.
What's it doing for $1,500?
Not a lot. Being terrible, pretty much. It also was like that PC that they gave. It wasn't an Alienware. Like they didn't get transferred to the Alienware division. It was just some Dell gaming PC, and it uses that new 12-volt only power supply standard. So basically, nothing on the board besides the memory is replaceable, because like the motherboard is proprietary for all intents and purposes. The power supply is proprietary for all intents and purposes, at least right now. So it was one of those things where I watched that and I thought that I feel like Dell is really opening themselves up to some sort of lawsuit and class action, because like that is straight up like deception and misinformation, and selling somebody something that they did not request. And it was one of those things where it was actually like, I know companies do shady shit, and I know Dell's not great, but like that was actually legitimately shocking to see that blatant scam artistry from what should be a reputable major PC producer.
So basically, they're just giving you
I mean,
they're just
it's one thing to charge something. It's one thing, yes, if you want to try and upsell multiple times, like, I get it. So many sales reps are incentivized to do that because that's where they make their money. But like when the customer says no, you don't then go and like hide that charge anyway in the price of the machine, so that you still get that money from them and don't have to give them a better computer or give them a better product.
Now, here's the question I ask, and I feel this is necessary to ask. I'm not saying that he wasn't scammed at all. What I am saying is, when you have you spend $1,500 on a computer, right?
Yeah.
There's no way that the computer comes to you and now you get a bill for like more money. I guess I'm asking like what the full scam of it was.
I mean, so they actually show the invoice that they got. So all of the stuff on the invoice is listed, but it's not itemized as to like the dollar amount for each thing. So it's not like, oh, here's your CPU and that cost you $400 of this cost. Here's your extended product and replacement that cost you $200. But like they did all the purchasing over the phone. So it's like, okay, I'm going to make you this computer and it's going to cost X amount of dollars. Give me your credit card information and then it will be shipped to you. So essentially it's like, okay, hey, here's this computer and it costs $1,500. Please pay up. And then you come to find out, oh, $400 of that cost is actually warranty stuff that I did not request, that you forced on me and charged me for.
Oh, okay. I think I see better now. So really the computer was like, I'm just going to throw prices out here. The computer's about $1,000, but they tacked on like $500 worth of like extra software and add-ons.
Essentially, that the customer, quote unquote, specifically declined.
And then when they got the bill, they're like, this is how much your computer cost.
Yeah, and none of those, like, that warranty was on there, but it wasn't listed as like, oh, hey, here is this warranty and it cost you $250. It was just, oh, hey, here's everything in this computer line by line by line by line by line, and here's the total, and that's all you see. And then you go on the online configurator and you make that same computer and you remove that warranty and you see that, oh, this computer actually costs only $1,000 rather than $1,500.
Yes. Okay, so the warranty was in the price, but it doesn't reflect the price once you take it out.
Yeah. And again, it is something that their shopper specifically declined, and declined multiple times.
Mm-hmm. But so they had a profit to make. Okay, so yeah, okay. I wouldn't 100% be on the scam train. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to defend Dell. I don't defend pretty much almost any gigantic electronics corporation because all of them have some sort of shade. Every single one of them. Now, watch your money, kids. But at that point, it's like, I'm going to pay you. It sounds like on the phone you would say like, I'm giving you $1,000. When I get the bill, it better say $1,000, and a sales call would have to be recorded or something like that.
And they do do play in the very first video. They play their employee who does the buying. They play her calls with every single one of the component manufacturers that they buy from.
Yeah.
So like you hear her on the phone with the rep who says, oh, things can happen. Do you want to buy? Are you sure you don't want to buy the 4-year extended protection? Are you sure you don't? And she says, absolutely not. So the scam lies in the customer saying no. And the computer that you send to that customer only costs $1,000, and you can go online and buy that computer for $1,000, and then you charge them $1,500 and send them something that they said no to.
Yeah,
that has to be illegal. That has to be straight up illegal.
The part where it becomes legal is when they tell you the price, they're like, okay, everything is going to come to let's for this sake say everything that you just said is going to come to $1,500. You as a consumer have no more control over that point. If you agree to say like, cool, I will pay you the $1,500, you've basically haggled your way into a bad deal. So that's technically not a scam. Now, if they said like, okay, everything you just said is going to cost $1,000, and you're like, cool, you get the bill and you see a $1,500 charge, that's a scam. That's a scam. That's illegal. Blah 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 blah. They're overcharging someone that's not a scam.
But charging them for something they specifically said no to is, because if
they actually have the warranty though? You can just charge someone.
It's on the invoice that they receive with the computer. So
so the warranty is actually there.
Yes, the warranty is literally an itemized piece of the bill the invoice that they receive after they paid.
Okay, that's a scam then.
Yes.
Well, it's either a mistake. If you tried to argue in the court of law, they'd say like, no, this was a mistake, and there's no way to prove otherwise. You could just say, all right, we'll give you your money back, and that would be the end of it. We'll give you your money back, take away the warranty. Now, is it bad for consumers? It's super anti-consumer, is what I think is like the thing that we are looking for. It's hyper anti-consumer.
Yeah.
It is because the type of people that are out there buying Dell computers, it's not me, it's not you. It's just not. It's people like 30 years older than us or more. And they're just like, I just want a computer. I want it to work. How much is this going to cost? Sir, it's going to cost $1,500. Okay, I don't want that warranty shit. Yeah. And they send it to them.
It's parents who are buying, their teenager's first computer, and they may not know much about it, and they just know that they need a computer for their son to play the Fortnites, and they go and they say, oh, we're going to get you about a 15. The problem is if like you're going to spend that much money and you're leaving $400 of computer on the table just because you got scammed into buying a warranty that you specifically decline, like $400 buys you a super extra good graphics card or a super extra good CPU. Like, you could put that $400 into so much stuff. Like,
yeah, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like that's literally we're talking about 50% the cost of the computer. That's for a warranty. That's insane. And oh my gosh, that you should never pay anything that's that high of amount for a warranty because that is just gambling.
Yeah.
Unless the warranty says like, hey, if the computer gets broke in any time during the next 4 years, we'll replace it with like the latest model. Cool. I've set an explosive inside my computer so that no matter what I'm doing at 3 years and 9 months, this motherfucker is
There's a reason those warranties don't exist really ever, unless you're like a high roller like buying like a Lexus or something like that from like one of those specialty, like there are only like 10 of these, and
sure the super special car.
Yeah, but like it was one of those things where I watched that video and I just could not believe how brazen it was. Now, and maybe it's something where because most of the customers are going to buy the computer online rather than calling in, it maybe doesn't happen that often. It's one of those instances where that kind of behavior is hyper localized or is something that is just people aren't going to talk about because they don't know about. But I also wouldn't be surprised if because of this, like, there are some lawyers out there who are going to start sniffing around and be like, hey, that seems kind of illegal. I wonder if this is happening anywhere else.
So in the cell phone world, back when I used to work in the cell phone world, it is illegal. There's a term for it. It's called packing. And it's basically giving a customer additional features that you didn't ask for and those features, it could be argued in court, explicitly just make the company more money, and they add sometimes little to no value to the actual client. Or hell, let's say it adds a lot of value to the client, but it's not something that they explicitly asked for. You just started adding it to their account with zero warning, zero heads up, and it costs them extra money. And it's a boon for the company to have that. Yeah, that's called packing. Yes, that's illegal. That's a scam. That's where I said, like, if it was actually line itemized on their invoice that says, by the way, you have the warranty, when you're saying this person explicitly said, don't give me the warranty. Yeah, that's anti-consumer, that's packing. Someone could argue that's a mistake. And let's talk about that for a second, if you don't mind, Josh.
Yeah.
So, obviously, we're still in the middle of this pandemic. We're in spike number 3, and it's the worst spike yet. Like,
How fun!
It's bad, everybody. 2,000 people are dying a day in the United States. It's not a good thing. I'm not going to joke about that. That's awful. That's miserable. Someone made the comparison saying it's like a 9/11 every day or something like that, or every week. I think it's like once.
Every day.
Yeah, that's awful. But you have certain people that like have a job, we'll say working at Dell, and part of their job is to make sure that they get that warranty on there. You know what I mean, Josh? So if they start seeing their numbers and like, hey, you haven't been selling a lot of warranties here lately. What's going on here? You got numbers to hit. And they're like, but this person keeps saying no. Well, maybe you should be better at your sales tactics. I'm saying this from like experience of like people like trying to like managerial people that could like hire or fire you, telling you like you need to start making sure these additional supplemental things are there, otherwise you don't have a job. So like for Linus Tech Tips, in this example, $500 is nothing to him. The guy spent like $2,000 on like a computer stand, a computer monitor stand, the Versa mount, I do believe, for the Apple.
Yeah.
Apple
Well,
monitor.
I think he bought for this. I think they buy 5 or 6 machines. So like, I mean, he put $75,000 to $100,000 just into this set of videos for this anyway. So obviously, as one of the top grossing YouTube stars with, that he's doing okay, but
yeah, he's got a very successful business, and his videos are great to watch. After you guys get done watching this, go watch a couple of them, then come back. Damn it, we got some good Evangelion and Star Wars stuff on here. You need to be putting in your eyeballs. That said, they do this to families too. Like as you said, that might not have like an extra $500 or something laying around, and to that person sitting at the desk, they probably definitely don't have the extra $500 just laying around. Otherwise, they might not be working at that specific job at Dell. I don't know. I don't know their life situations. I'm painting a story here. Don't read too much into it. So to maintain their job, and so they're not like unemployed during a pandemic, they might just say, well, if this person doesn't want it, they can call in. It keeps that guy's numbers high, guy or gal, and they move on with their day.
Yeah, that's the other like sinister thing about it. Like if somebody were to press Dell, like obviously Linus has made a pretty bold statement in the video of like basically telling Dell like, yo, you guys straight up suck. Like they could fire the sales rep and just be like, oh, this is an isolated incident of somebody trying to pad their numbers, when actually probably deeply it's a rotten culture of managers trying to push their folks to hit those numbers, rather than, and then just public like, oh, it was just an isolated incident of one person just trying to juice their numbers and not addressing the problem. So
right, because Dell probably is aware of that problem, especially if I just looked it up. It looks like Linus did 3 separate videos about this, so it's not isolated. I think we can agree, like it doesn't just happen that many times,
Yeah.
It's very much it's a constant problem. It's something Dell needs to fix. But are they going to fix it? Probably not.
Because unless there is some sort of like legal action taken against them or something regulatory, like it's not going to happen. Because again, yes, Alienware probably makes them a decent amount of money. Yes, their specific Dell computers specifically for gaming, do decently well, but that's not where they make their bread and butter. It is the business laptop and the business desktop that they sell hundreds and thousands of to companies that buy them in bulk by the pallet load, and the services that come with those to keep parts supplied. So at the end of the day, that revenue is a drop in the bucket compared to their overall business. So they're not going to change that behavior. So if
Yeah.
if you're getting a PC and you don't plan on doing it yourself, and you're going to get a pre-built, do not get a pre-built from Dell or Alienware. Yes, some of those Alienwares are good looking, but Dell sucks, and stay away.
I mean, if you're going to get a pre-build, and I highly recommend PC configurator sites like CLX Gaming, iBuyPower, CyberPower. I think actually CyberPower and CLX Gaming are the same thing. Nonetheless, if you're going to go to a configurator and whatnot, just do that and build what you want. And if you are completely ignorant, like you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, I just want a decent computer or a decent gaming computer, still, and you want to drop like a little bit of cash, still just go to a configurator site, and just they have drop downs that say like, what types of games are you wanting to play?
Yep.
You select those, and they're going to put you in the right category.
Yep. There, if you have lots of money, there are some really boutique-y ones that'll get really fancy. If you have like a medium amount of money, iBuyPower and CyberPower are pretty good. Those.
Yeah, this PC I got right here is CLX Gaming. The only thing I swapped out was the power supply because it sucked.
Yeah, OEM power supplies, like unless you're gonna get like a legit, name brand power supply, like that is something you always want to just chuck it on out.
Just put the good shit in.
Yeah, if there's one area of your rig you never want to skimp on, it's the power supply.
It's kind of like skimping on like how safe should the gas tank be in the car. Nope.
I mean, just ask Ford how well that worked out.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to get into the atrocity that is the Ford Pinto scandal. Oh my gosh! Speaking of like anti-consumer,
I remember seeing like the liner that it would have, like the liner that they could have put in that gas tank and how much it would have cost. Like it was
like $1.67.
Yeah,
or something
it was
like
it was
that.
ridiculous, and boy howdy.
Yeah, it was
talking
cheap,
about
it was
anti-consumer. Yeah, people may be getting scammed out, but at least you're not like literally putting them in burning death traps.
Yeah, your vehicle from a fender bender isn't combusting into flame with you inside of it. Whew, all because it was the calculation said it was cheaper to pay out the legal lawsuits from people from wrongful death suits than it is just to install the part. That seems like a lie to me. I don't know.
There's no way that math works. There's no way.
I have to trust that that's true, because you have to have like no soul to say like, oh yeah, obviously go with the wrongful death suit type of thing. Clearly that'll make more sense. The extra money is worth it.
Yeah.
Absolutely ridiculous. Anyways, was there anything else for the Josh's Tech Minute?
Last piece for the Josh's Tech Minute. We had another graphics card launch this week. NVIDIA launched the 3060 Ti. Not the 3060, the 3060 Ti, because you released the Ti version before you released the normal one. It's in a very weird spot. First off, completely unavailable already. They announced it, I think, on Tuesday. It was available on Wednesday. Sold out almost immediately. I did have one from Zotac in my cart. I managed to get one in a cart. But by the time I was able to like quote unquote check out, it was already taken. So the retail price for that is $400. With some of the partner models getting up into like $460, which is almost a 3070. And the card itself is like only about 20% slower than the 3070. In some cases, trading blows with it. Also trading blows with the 6800 from AMD, which is $160 more expensive than it. So it's a very interesting card. Impossible to get. especially with the partner models. I remember hearing something about some partners saying that this card specifically was going to be really hard and almost nearly unprofitable because of the restrictions on pricing that Nvidia was putting on the partners because the margins are so small. And they're like, if I want to hit this target, I basically, the only way I can do that is through mail-in rebates because I can't hit that price point otherwise because I won't be able to sell it. But yeah, especially when you have partner models that are basically almost only $30 less than the next tier up, like, what's the point? Again, also, anyway, you can't get them because nobody can get graphics cards right now anyway because it's all out of stock. So it's always fun to have another basically paper launch because of high demand and scalpers. So
Lots of scalping, honestly.
yeah, yeah. But that's it for the Josh's Tech Minute. Ray, do you have anything else you would like to discuss before we wrap this puppy up?
Yeah, the last thing, speaking of like hardware people are trying to get a hold of, I actually am going to hold off on getting a PS5 until like probably February or later, because one of my coworkers dropped some truth bombs, and he noted that there is no PS5 exclusive game out right now. Like every game that's released on the PS5, you can either get on PC or PS4. It's like, huh. I think the only exception to that is like the Demon Souls remake, but yeah, I could wait on that. That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's that one, that Astro's Playroom. Yeah, sure, okay. Everything else, nah. You can just play it on PS4 and it'll probably be fine.
Yeah. It may not look as pretty, it may not run as smoothly, but it'll run like, I'm going to be able to play Miles Morales on PS4. I'm perfectly happy with that. And the nice thing about that is you kind of let some of the early run gremlins get figured out of those consoles because, that's always going to happen. So by the time you're buying one, the manufacturing process has gotten a little better. There have been some software patches and bug fixes and all that. So honestly, with all of these, if you can wait, you should wait.
Yeah.
Especially in the console space where you're not going to have a refresh as close. Like, even if there's a PS5 Pro, that's still 2 to 3 years down the line. So if you're 4 months post launch, you still got a while before you have any sort of buyer's remorse. Some of these processors and graphics cards, they may update those a little more frequently, so you might have a little more buyer's remorse if you wait too long. But again, also because new stuff comes out doesn't mean the current thing that you have is now completely obsolete. It just might not be the cutting edge, and that's okay too.
Go ahead and wait, everybody. There's a pandemic going on. If you got the spare time and cash, just take care of each other. Sounds okay.
You know what you could do while you're waiting, though?
Uh-oh.
You can visit
Okay.
unscriptedgaming.com to check out all of our best content, links to all of our videos, podcasts, various shows that we do. As Ray mentioned, we've got some killer stuff on the Evangelion. You can get us on Facebook at Unscripted Podcast. You can get us on Twitter at unscript_gaming. We are on soundcloud.com/unscripted-gaming. Audio versions of this are available all over every podcatcher that you can think of. We are there. Thank you for listening to Unscripted Gaming. My name is Josh.
My name is Ray.
Peace.